We're going live now.
Coming to you from the Yard Dawgs Podcast studio. A show for the fans, by the fans. Talking all things Cleveland Browns. From our mic to your ears. With your hosts, Jason Hand, Mikey P, and Ian Cold Train Coldiron.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Yes, you are live here in the Yard Dawgs Podcast. Welcome to the Yard, a show for the fans, by the fans. This is season 4, episode 136. I'm your host, Mikey P. The Yard Dawgs Podcast is brought to you by Network 216. Check out our Ohio sports content. Just remember to subscribe to our Network 216 YouTube channel. Joining me tonight is we have Cold Train in the building and another familiar face. Jason Hand is back in the saddle tonight. How we doing, fellas?
Super fantastic. Getting better every day.
Yeah, you know, I wish you would have told me you were coming on. I would have advertised the return of Jason Hand. I mean, Mikey, what's it been, a month? I mean, I would have advertised it big, man. Such a shock at the end there.
He's been MIA. He's been on assignment.
All is well in the world. Drew in Brick City saying, welcome back, Mr. Hand. What's up, Drew? Man, we have some people that are like tuning in now to the show. So it's definitely good to be back. Good to see you guys. Definitely.
Yeah, it's great to see your face, man. You look healthy, dude. So it's nice to see you.
The beard's looking good again. It's like it came back.
Yeah,
it did.
Can you
the last time you're on, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
That was one of my projects when I was away from the podcast. I had to grow the beard back. So that's what I've been doing. I've also, I've been away from you guys. You guys know, maybe everybody doesn't know, I invested in a new business, and it's taken a lot of my time, more time than I even thought. So every day, I think about you two gentlemen, Mikey P and Cold Train. I'm just thankful for you guys. You guys are holding down the fort. You guys are putting in shows, putting in time, and you're doing a great job. Mikey P, you're stepping in as the host. So, when I had an opportunity to get back here with you guys tonight, I didn't think I was going to be on time, but here I was, just glad to be back and great to see you guys for sure.
It's good to have you back, man. And I wish you were coming back on a week where we were going to be like, yeah, the Browns, we had a big game. We're going to get into this icebreaker question in the next. But I don't know if do you guys follow, I think his name is Ben Axelrod on Twitter.
Yeah, a little bit. Was that the guy that had the marital problems or marital issues?
No. That was you're thinking of God, what's his name? No, Ben is he's one of the local media guys.
All right, I've heard of him.
He had a tweet that I saw. He said, weird game all around for the Browns, but they have a bye coming up and they have a big boy game in week 5. And I was like, was week 4 not? Was week 4 not, or week 6? I was like, was week 4 not a big boy game, like a divisional game with the first place on the line? I didn't think it got any bigger than that. I guess your hated rivals, the Ravens, that wasn't a big boy game. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Well, first of all, I'll go ahead and start. I've said this before. Cold Train, you've definitely said this. Until we punch the Steelers and the Ravens in the mouth, we will be the little brothers of the AFC North. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh. It's true, though. We are the little brothers of the AFC North, man. Besides the Bengals, the Bengals are ironically the only team that we seem to have their number. Doesn't matter who's starting the quarterback. We take care of business against Cincinnati. But when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, yes, I know over the past couple of years we've found ways to split the series, for the games we played. But for the most part, man, they just get us. And, when you go against the Steelers, and I know they have new faces, in Pittsburgh Steelers uniforms, but they still play tough physical football. We saw that. And I would be remiss if I didn't start off by saying, because I was gone, when Nick Chubb went down, guys, I heard you guys talking about this. It just, all the fun of this season just went out the window for me. That was like losing a family member when Nick Chubb went down, especially the way he did. They didn't even want to show it on television. I certainly didn't want to see the injury, even though you can't help but to see it. It's all over our feeds on X or Twitter, whatever you call it. And it's they ended up showing it on TV anyways. But when he went down, guys, a pit just went in my stomach. I'm like, I didn't think the season was over, and I still don't think the season is over, but that's definitely a big part of our team. Like, he's the heart and soul of the Cleveland Browns, so he will be sorely missed, and I can't wait for him to get back. But as it relates to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens are another team we just faced. That's a big boy game, Mikey P. You asked if that's a big boy game. Yes, that's a big boy game. They've got big-time players on that team. I know they're beat up as well going into this week, but when you have players like Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, they know how to move that ball up and down the field and score on you and score big. Now, when you look at like Lamar Jackson's numbers, it looked kind of pedestrian. I know he had some carries on the ground and, he threw for some yards, but guys, he threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for 2. Did we contain him? Some would argue we did. I would say probably not. But until we get over that hump, man, we're going to be the little brothers of the AFC North. And I can't wait for the day when we can finally say that that's no more. But right now, that's where we're at. Sorry for rambling.
Well, that kind of brings us into our icebreaker tonight. It's the blame game, as we would like to call it. Who is at fault for our 2-2 record? Because in 2 games, we've thoroughly dominated, and then in another game, we should have won and somehow managed to lose, and then this game was just a flat out it was almost like they didn't show up. It was bad. It was as bad as it can get. What do you guys put the blame on, or if you had to blame anyone? I don't know if it's one thing or many things. Like, who do you blame the most for the 2-2 record that we have right now? Coltrane, I'll start with you.
I blame Stefanski. I'm going to keep calling him Stefanski until he actually proves his worth, and I'll call him Stefanski. But yeah, it's Stefanski, man. I don't know. You're the head coach. I don't really like how he handled the Watson situation myself, just as a fan. Jeff wanted me to mention this on the show today. We were talking about it a little bit, like, just the way he kind of bobbled the snap a little bit on that news with the Watson news. And that really, rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, just because, like, it did seem like he was kind of, covering his butt and all that. And I don't know, it was a little bit iffy. But for me, it's the head coach, man. Guys, I just witnessed live and in charge, just basically a goose egg. I can't even count the 3. It was basically I went to Cleveland, traveled 2 hours there for a goose egg, came back. Horrible Sunday. It's up to the head coach, regardless if Watson knew he could go. They had to have a heavy, strong game plan for both of these guys all week, and they had to set us up like the best they could. So it's like, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand how, like, you can't get the rookie ready. Obviously he crapped the bed a little bit for sure. DTR crapped the bed. Like, the throws weren't there. He looked off. He looked scared in the pocket. But my thing with Stefanski, Stefanski, the plays that he had him do, he kept saying the game plan doesn't change. The game plan doesn't change, but shouldn't a little bit? It's a 5th round rookie. He had a great preseason. Magic's gone, but shouldn't you have prepared him a little bit? I felt like what they were trying to do didn't make sense for who DTR was. It's almost like they were literally, I've been talking about this on the show, Watson clone. It was like they tried to just literally have him be Watson. And it just, even some of the throws that he was making, they're just not there, man. Like DTR, I would have just gone run. I was joking with my friends, before the game started. I would have just gone running back QB to running back QB. I would have ran the crap out of DTR, dude. Bunch of QB options, like just use his athleticism. I don't know why they tried to make it so complicated for him. But yeah, for me, boys, to break the show open with that, my blame at 2-2. It always seems to want to be on the head coach anyways, as he's the creator and the maker of all this. But yeah, my blame game is on Stefanski. Got you, boy.
I'll go with Jason next. If you had to pick your one person to place the majority of the blame on, or if you want to spread it around, who do you think it is, Jason?
Well, I mean, so a 2-2 record. So we're talking about. Are we talking about the Pittsburgh and the Baltimore loss, or are we just mainly talking about the Baltimore loss?
Yeah, I think it's a culmination of the whole, kind of the season as a whole. How did we get to 2-2? I think we've, been pretty decent in the 2 wins, but in the 2 losses, we've been like, it's the spectrum has swung. So like in the 2 wins, I don't think they were like dynamic or elite on offense, but in the 2 losses, they've just been abysmal on offense.
Yeah. So with the Baltimore game, I'm going to kind of piggyback off what Coltrane just said, because I totally 100% agree with you, Coltrane. Sunday morning, I'm going to church. Watson's playing. I mean, to my knowledge, I didn't hear anything different. I get out of church and all of a sudden DTR is playing. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, okay, DTR is playing. And not that I wasn't excited that was happening. I mean, yes, like you said, he had a great preseason. I mean, you're never excited when your rookie backup QB is all of a sudden your starting quarterback. Oh, by the way, against the Baltimore Ravens. But that's what happened, and that's what we were facing. So on my way home from church, I'm thinking, okay, well, hopefully Stefanski has a game plan for this rookie. And to start the game, he did. It seemed like, I mean, he was 3 of 3 in his passes. They're short passes. They were on target. But it seemed like after those 3 completions, which were probably scripted, by the way, everything just went downhill. And I don't think the game plan matched who we had at quarterback. I tweeted this before the game. I said, all right, young man, DTR, this game does not have to be on your shoulders. You have an entire football team, especially the defense, that can carry you. So that's all you have to do is take care of the football, don't turn it over, and move the chains. And it's as easy as that. But again, I don't think that the game plan matched who we had at quarterback. I mean, how many times did we see DTR throw it way down the field, like way down? I don't mind taking our shots, but guys, he wasn't accurate, and we have a team around this guy. We have an offensive line. We have a running game. Like, we have receivers, use those guys. And I just didn't see that in the game plan. It was over pretty much after the first quarter. When we were down, I don't even have the chart right in front of me, but we were down 10 points at one point in the game. It was fairly early, and I knew already the game was already out of hand. We weren't going to come back from that.
I kind of put it on twofold. I think it's Stefanski is 1A, and then I think you have to put AB as 1B. Like, he's not guilty of any of this blame either. And for me, where it falls under AB, you were part of a previous regime that had decided that when Baker was brought in his rookie year, you didn't want to start him right away. You were almost kind of wanted to redshirt him, or at least have him not play till halfway through the season. It wasn't until Tyrod got injured that out of necessity he had to play. You had a veteran quarterback that knew your offense, that was on your team, that was ready to be a backup. Putting that kind of pressure on a 5th round rookie, like most 5th round guys don't start in the league, let alone quarterbacks. And at least their rookie year, to put that kind of pressure on him And then all week you kept saying, "Oh, Watson's going to play. Watson's going to play." It just seemed like it just falls back on Stefanski too. Like I blame AB for trading away Dobbs. I don't think you ever should have done that. But once he made that trade, you got to live with that. But it falls on Stefanski. It just goes back to when Mayfield was here, and I hate talking about when Baker was here, but there's just something about Stefanski. Stuff gets out of that locker room. There's always some type of their camp. You've heard Watson's camp say, they were ready if need be. And then Stefanski kind of said, remember when Mayfield was like, there was nothing that the medical team said there was nothing that prevented him from starting. So that's why we allowed him to start. And then it's kind of the other way where it's like, Watson knew what his body could do. So he decided to shut things down. If you're a true leader, you don't say those things. What you say is, we met as a group and we decided it was best for all parties involved that Deshaun not play. And you leave it at that. You don't say anything else. Because the way they did it, it's almost like the same shit OBJ's dad did. Like you're almost just adding fuel to the fire. Like just use that coach pick and say, hey, we sat down together. We all decided it was best. He couldn't do everything we would need it for him to be able to do. I mean, they said he couldn't throw the ball down the field 10 yards. More than like after 10 yards, it was tough for him. Anything at 10. Every damn play was down the field deep. Like they were just running go patterns. It felt like all game long with a struggling offensive line where your left tackle is basically a freaking turnstile at times against the Ravens of all teams, who are always going to get after the quarterback, whether they got to blitz you or they're going to line up and pin their ears back. And you don't have Chubb. You don't have your most reliable piece. Like Chubb is gone for the rest of the year. You don't have that. Like and Stefanski's probably trying to still figure that out. Like, what do I do, without Chubb, And it's like, I'm going to be honest here. I'm fucking done with Stefanski. No matter what happens the rest of the season, I don't want to see that dude on coaching my team anymore. I'm done with him. I think he's a piss poor leader of anybody. Like he doesn't make me want to drink water. I'm done with him, so I'm out. So that's how I'll end it on that.
One thing I'll add, fellas, is just like, I don't know if you guys saw the remarks of, Njoku's fire accident. And I'm not saying that you got to yell at the guy, but Stefanski's comments was like, yeah, I'm proud of him. He was a warrior. Like, he just battled back. And it's like, I don't know. I kind of want my head coach to be like, yeah, I had a conversation with him, and he won't be doing stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not trying to, be picky, but just another Stefanski move where I'm just scratching my head. Like, are you trying to create bad culture? Like, is this something that you're really trying to do in the locker room? Like, and I've always said this about Stefanski, and I always will. I need a little emotion, just a little bit. Like, I realize now as a fan, maybe I'm biased to other fans out there. I'm a player's coach. I'm the Detroit Lions coach. Like I like I actually wanted Robert Saleh, man. I wanted Saleh. I didn't want Stefanski. So, it goes all the way back to that where it's like, yeah, dude, I feel you. Unfortunately, I have to give him the rest of the year because that's the plan here, and I don't know if Barry's involved with that plan too, but it clearly looks like they're going to give him one long shot. And if this goes bad or this goes haywire, this guy's out of here. So that's just, but I don't even want to, hopefully we don't talk about that, any longer on the show or, the next few weeks. I hope not, but man, could be a conversation coming up, sadly, fellas.
Yeah. For me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mikey P. For me, Stefanski, I'm not quite where you are, Mikey P. Like I actually didn't think you were going to just lay that out there for everybody, but you did, and that's okay. You're entitled to your thoughts. For me, man, it's like this fan base, and I'm not talking about you, Mikey P, because you just have to go to social media and you can see the week 1, we beat the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. Nobody was, obviously calling for Stefanski's head. Week 2, we lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stefanski's head's, on the chopping block. And then we beat the Tennessee Titans. All is right in the world. And then we lose to Baltimore. Now they want Stefanski's head again. It's like, I get you can, coaches have bad games. Coaches do. I think what you're saying, Mikey P, is I think it is. I mean, with Baltimore, he didn't lead the team right. Like, when did the players know that DTR was going to be the quarterback? Was it right before the game? Was it hours before the game? I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. And I'm not making excuses for Stefanski. I'm just saying, guys, I mean, he had a 5th-round rookie leading our team against the Baltimore Ravens. Our defense, who has looked dominant all year, were gassed. And you said this, Mikey P, on Sunday. They were gassed. I mean, they just ran out of steam. They were out there too much. We had way too many 3-and-outs. They were gassed. So I don't think we saw a true reflection of what our defense is during that Baltimore game. I'm just saying, let's just catch our breath. Let's go into the bye week and see what happens against this next test, which is a big test against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm looking forward to that one, guys. Kyle Shanahan's coming back in town. We got Stefanski. We got 2 weeks of Deshaun Watson healing up, our defense healing up, and that is going to be a true test because, I mean, the San Francisco 49ers, guys, I mean, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. So if we can go, and it's in Cleveland, by the way, if we can go to that game and make a game of it, make it close and possibly even win the game, I think a lot of tunes are going to be changing at that point. So that's what I'm saying. It's just been a huge roller coaster ride so far in just this 4 short weeks. Let's just give it a little time, guys. Give it a little time. That's my plea to you, Mikey P. Give it a little time.
I don't know. I've seen this story before, and I just can see how it's going to play out. Like, who was it that said, I'm not here for this 8-8 bullshit with Jeff Fisher. Like, that's how I feel it is. Like, I feel like Stefanski is just that 8-9, 9-8 type of coach. Like, I don't know. Like, and if they make the playoffs, great. For me, looking at the team, they're 2-2. Yes, you're 500. You're still in the thick of things. Absolutely. But I'm just like, I don't know that he knows what to do without Chubb now. Like, Chubb was, it's not the quarterback position for him. For me, like, he was at Jacoby Brissett looked solid last year, but the key piece that's been there throughout and has always been your consistency has been Nick Chubb, and we don't have that right now. And is the offensive line not playing as good as they were, or was Nick Chubb masking things that were going on with the offensive line? Like, is it the chicken or the egg type of thing? I don't know. I would love to be 100% wrong, and they run the table, and they finish the year 11-6, 12-5, 10-7, make the playoffs. Like, prove me wrong. Like, shut me up. Prove me wrong. Like, I want that to happen, but I don't know, man. I start seeing the things, and it's always like, is it just me, or do we always have a coach or players that, like, they're always talking in the media like this organization is nothing but cryptic tweets and cryptic interviews where they say stuff and you're like, what does this person mean? What does this mean? It's like, I feel like you watch around the league that you don't have that, but here it's constant and it's annoying. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Jason, I'll start with you.
I mean, I think that's pretty normal in the league, especially with the young players of today. That's how they communicate, is through social media. And it might be so cryptic that you haven't been seeing it, Mikey P, but I do. I see tweets out there, from players, and they're trying to say a certain message, and I'm trying to decode that, from their emojis that they post. So I am seeing cryptic tweets. I don't think it's like just with the Cleveland Browns. I think that we do see it all across the league. And by the way, in many different leagues.
I agree with that. What about you, Coltrane?
What's the topic?
I mean, is it just me, or is there too many players and coaches, like when we go to the media or we're talking to the media or we're on Twitter, like there's all these cryptic messages that just you got to sit there and like be a damn detective sometimes. What does this mean? What does this mean? Is this something like does it seem like it's always Browns related when that kind of stuff happens, or is it just or am I just?
No, I think you're right. It's always Browns related, and that's what starts. You get into those conversations in your head, like, are we cursed, man? Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Like, I go back to even when Wills and Higgins got busted with the joint in the car. Like, what are we doing? Like, why is this stuff seem like it always happens to us? I know every NFL fan will be like, no, it's us too, and I'm sure that's true. But just as a Browns fan, all I can really speak on is Brown stuff, but. As a Browns fan, it does feel like we're, it's just we get these players that just, I don't know, they don't think. And like I said, I agree with what you said earlier in the show. Things are leaking out, and you're wondering why. You know what I mean? Like, I know a coach like Belichick and stuff, like he wouldn't tolerate that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't like how a lot of stuff leaks out, man. So I'm not a fan of it.
Well, on the happier stuff. Coltrane, you were in attendance for this game. I know the game wasn't very good, but it was Joe Thomas's induction into Brown Stadium, Ring of Honor. You were there live. How was the ceremony at halftime, and how was the opening guitar bash by Joe?
It was pretty good, man. Honestly, it was enjoyable. I knew it was, his enshrinement, so I wanted to obviously go to this game. He chose a good game to do it. He had a blast. I guess the week before, my buddy was telling me, who's a season ticket holder right in front of me, that Boobie Gibson was doing the guitar, the last week, and there was like two pieces that almost hit a fan in the stands. Actually, I think it did hit a fan, if I'm not correct. So he thought it was done, and then they wheeled it back out. And here was Joe Thomas. Like, yeah, they're not going to cancel that, for Joe Thomas, but. Anyways, very enjoyable to watch. Obviously, any Browns fan will tell you that we're there live at the game. That was the best thing, obviously, to go to for the game. It felt like a little mini Hall of Fame ceremony, with the statue out there and him getting the ring. But it was nice, man. At the door they gave us these. Mikey and Jason will be proud owners of these here in a few weeks. They passed these out at the gate. They had these by like the boatloads. It was just a really, really good experience. And I guess the one positive, for us longtime Browns fans, that it was like, appreciate Joe's day. I just feel bad that the Ravens just crapped all over it, but would have been nice to get a win for Joe. Speaking of Joe, I was listening to Ken Carman show Monday, and there was a dude that said he blames Joe Thomas for Jedrick Wills' play. Like, he was just like, I'm tired of Joe Thomas. He's supposed to be champion, this guy. He said Wills is good. I mean, sometimes, man, the stuff you hear from fans where it's like, Joe Thomas, the living legend, it's his fault that Wills sucks? Like, it's just, you hear this stuff, guys, and you just laugh. And that's why I like listening to Ken Carman show. But, man, I don't know. It's just crazy, man.
Did they play the Halloween music on third downs? Because I was listening for that. And, it didn't come through the TV, but were they playing that song on third downs?
Yeah. They always do.
I love it.
Why we were giving up friggin' yardage. Had nothing to do with the tires.
I didn't love that, but I do love that they're trying to get the crowd into it. That's always good.
Yeah, it was depressing for me though, just like because like they do that like sing along now in the second quarter where like they're getting like we'll all sing along with the lyrics on the. I mean, some people were. I wasn't in the mood, man. I was in a bad mood. I was actually supposed to meet up with a friend, and it never worked out just because I was like, dude, I'm probably leaving here and like leaving soon. Didn't even feel like being social. I mean, it was just one of those games, just such a dud from start to finish. I mean. Games like that, I put it this way, I haven't watched a game like that, it seems like, in a while. Well, I can tell you the last time that I remember to San Francisco, I was at my old condo with my wife. We were dating at this time, and that shellacking we got from San Fran, we scored 3 points. It was like a similar score, like 32-3 or something crazy like that. And I was just like, I remember it was just over at the first snap, and that's kind of how I felt with like once they got to the 10, they got that turnover, and they Lamar ran it in. Like I kind of knew. I was like, yeah, this is. Any win we still had in our sails is just gone. The stadium was silent, never open, never even, a peep. Wasn't even a peep out of us the rest of the game. So, and I left early, I'll admit, sorry guys. Probably the beginning of the fourth quarter. I just, I headed home, and I told Mikey there was actually older folks leaving at halftime. You don't see that every day at a Browns game. Not going to lie. There was some folks leaving at halftime, but, yeah, I hope that's not what we're, going to get used to. That's all I got to say, man. That was rough to watch.
I mean, to kind of wrap up the recap of the game, Watson didn't play, obviously. The low spot was the offense. They didn't do anything well, though. I don't think they even have one good drive. Like, even the drive they got points off of, they almost didn't get points because of that, like, negative 20-yard reverse play they ran. But the bright spot, I thought the defense, when it was rested, played well. Like, they made adjustments in the second half, played a lot better. When they were kept off the field, I thought they were pretty good. Maurice Hurst played good again. And the field goal kicker drilled a 53-yard field goal. Dustin Hopkins again.
Yeah.
So I think we found our kicker this year. Feels like.
I actually had him on my fantasy team, and when he drilled that 50-plus yarder, that's 4 points in fantasy land. But the bad part was that was the only thing we got. So, but Mikey P, to your point, man, the defense held their own until they got tired. Like JLK was a player, he was spying Lamar Jackson and did a good job containing him for the most part. He made a couple of good plays. But I think as the game got into the flow, we lost a step. And I don't know if it was because we were tired or they were just on the field too much. I mean, they kept showing Myles Garrett. And he just looked like he was spent, man. I mean, every play he's giving it his all. All the guys are, but I think that they just lost steam. So Zadarius Smith, I mean, I thought he got hurt and that was another sinking feeling, but he came back in the game. So that's good, right? I mean, I don't think he's on any type of injury report right now. So that was good, but I think this bye week came at the right time. I do. We have a lot of healing to do. We have a lot of resting to do. We have a lot of preparing to do. Like, it's not vacation time. It's go to work time. Either you're rehabbing or we're getting ready for the San Francisco 49ers because that's what's going on.
Coltrane. Next question for you, buddy. We're 2-2 going into the bye. What is one change or one, it could be any change you could make, personnel change, whatever, one change you would make that could help this team conquer the North?
Honestly, I'd like to give Watson another weapon at receiver. Like, I'd love to pull out, I know this is just fantasy, but I'd love to pull off a trade for like Devontae Adams or somebody like that, bring somebody in here. Just because that or running back option of the same type of stature, because what we have, I don't think it's working. Even the little bit that I've saw, but it's very like Ford's hard to watch sometimes. Like, he's like either like feast or famine, like he either burst off for like 40, 45 yards or he, just gets stopped a lot. I also am not a fan of the other running back we have. Strong, is it? I don't like him either. I think we need a change at either of those positions. If I'm Andrew Berry and I'm looking at this roster, the roster is not set. Defense looks fine, but I'm with you, piggybacking off what you guys were saying earlier. Stefanski seems like a guy. I told you, it's like Boobie Miles, Permian football all over again where, you know, it's like Chubb is his Booby Miles. He has no idea. You know, this guy's Billy Bob Thornton now, Stefanski. He has no idea what to do with the playbook. It's like he lost his best player. It's like, all right, dude, it's, you know, the first week, whatever. It's like, it's been a couple weeks now, bro. Like, you know, you should be in motion of like what you want to do from here. And I just feel like the last two games, well, the game before, Watson was just Watson. I mean, and that's the thing, you know, for this to work, we're going to need to see Houston Watson now. Like before, we didn't really have to see Houston Watson. Now we need to see Houston Watson because he needs to do it all. And unless they get me what I'm asking for, back to my original point, a receiver or a running back, man, because honestly, man, we have the money. Haslam's rich as hell. Like, what are we doing? Just like, I don't care if it F's the cap. Like, if we want to win now, if we want to win, like, for serious, I'd add somebody, you know, late here. I don't think Hunt and Ford are going to get it done. And I just, Peoples-Jones has been a ghost. Like, there's just a lot of things I haven't liked too much on the offense, not even just including the scheme and Stefanski's, you know, Denny's playbook he's got over there, you know, shout out Brian Music for the Denny's menu. You know, it just, I think too much is going on. But like I said, that's to answer your question properly, that I would try to pick up one of those positions, man, just add something else to the offense, because clearly Stefanski needs it to succeed here. So.
Are they saving Cedric Tillman for anything? I mean, when are we going to roll him out?
That's what I don't understand. Like, I get it, he's a rookie, but we even saw Schwartz. We already would have seen Schwartz last year. You know what I mean? Like, he was always putting games here and there. Like, why not do that with Tillman? What's holding him back? You know what I mean? And especially DTR. Like, why didn't you put Tillman in to make him comfortable? Like, those are the things you do to, like, acclimate a rookie QB. Like, why am I saying that? I'm just a fan. Why am I saying stuff like this?
Nick Carnes had a prop bet that he posted before the game, and it was like an anytime touchdown score for Cedric Tillman. And I'm like, Nick, that's actually smart, man, because DTR should have some chemistry with him. He's probably comfortable with him. So if DTR is playing this entire game, you probably are going to win that bet. I don't think we saw Cedric Tillman all day, did we? I mean, I don't think he was out there.
He was out there. I just don't remember seeing him.
Actually throwing to him?
I don't know. We were too busy running jet sweeps to Elijah Moore and handing the ball off to him in the backfield. Stefanski was digging deep into his Cheesecake Factory this week.
Yeah, I'm a believer that I don't think we have to do much more outside of the current roster to win the AFC North. You know, at some point, you have to take the guys you got, be serious about the game plan, play physical football, and go take these games. Like, they're there for us. You know, we shouldn't be getting blown out by however many points we just got blown out by the Baltimore Ravens. That should never happen. And against this Pittsburgh Steelers, like, that shouldn't happen. I realize it did happen. And we have another, I'm going to bring it up again. We have another test against the San Francisco 49ers, but I still think the AFC North is there for the taking. I really do. I believe that. And I think that this all hinges on Deshaun Watson. Is he healthy? You know, is he going to play the rest of the year? I mean, I think he is, but, you know, is he going to go into this next game healthy? And if he is, you know, can he take care of the football and lead this offense? Because the other side of the football, guys, I think we are fine. I really do. I think if the offense can stay on the field and control the clock and time of possession matters, right, in football games, I think if the offense can do that, we're going to be fine and we're going to be in these football games. But unfortunately, the two losses, we just didn't see that.
It's a tough game. You got San Fran. That's a big, huge game, but it doesn't get easier after that. Every team we play, I mean, after that we play the Colts, the Seahawks, Cardinals, the Ravens, and the Steelers. none of those teams are playing like they've given up. Like the Cardinals were predicted to be like the worst team in the league. They play hard as hell. Like they went to San Francisco and they didn't get they got beat handily, but they were in the game. They weren't getting punked. The Colts, they've been a surprise. They beat Baltimore the week before with their backup, Gardner Minshew.
Doesn't make sense, right?
Richardson might be an athlete too. I mean, Richardson looks good. That QB in Colts. So
it's not gonna get easier the rest of the way. There are no gimmies in this league anymore. Like occasionally you'll get to the end of the year and you just got a team that's given up on a coach or something like that, and that's kind of a gimme. But I think a lot of the teams we looked at as kind of these are games you win. Like I didn't expect the Colts to be playing as good as they don't even have Jonathan Taylor, like their star running back. So I think we're gonna have our hands full the rest of the year with every opponent. It's the NFL. Like the margin of error is slim in most games. So I think that San Francisco game is going to determine a lot. You win that game, that sets you up. Like you just had a good win against a good team at home. You're 3-2, gives you a lot of momentum. You lose that game, then the doubts start to creep in. You're 2-3. You've lost 2 consecutive games at home. Had a bye. Shanahan does not like this organization. I can tell you that. So you can guarantee if he can put up points, he's going to come in here and do what he can. Like he still hasn't forgotten about the Johnny Manziel situation. So
and that's the exciting thing I think about the Cleveland Browns is that this defense. I don't know about you guys, but I'm more excited to watch our defense than our offense, and I've been that way for a couple weeks. But this defense is so dynamic that they actually have the ability to neutralize high-powered offenses like the San Francisco 49ers. You know, they really can. I know Christian McCaffrey, that's a hard guy to stop. You know, but Brock Purdy, I mean, we're going to talk about that game next week and we're going to dive into it. But I really do think that, you know, if the offense for the Cleveland Browns can stay on the field and give the defense some rest, I think that our defense can capitalize and make big plays and cause turnovers and just slow down an offense like, you know, that of the 49ers. So
I'm just going to end with this. Any good NFL team always wins one game they had no damn business winning. And yes. I'm with Jason on this. Trust me, I'm not going into this expecting a win. So trust me, this could be like, you know, that Monday night many, many years ago, I was in college where we beat the Giants on Monday Night Football. Like Giants were so good, we beat them. Same thing in this situation. Like San Fran, like we'll be the talk of the league. You come out of that game with a dub, you're the talk of the league, no doubt.
And the most confusing team in the league. It's like, you know, like what do you expect, right, from the Browns? Are they going to be good or be, you know?
And it kind of sets up for us in favor of us a little bit. Like my thought is San Francisco plays Dallas this week. That's a big game. Like that's a marquee game. 2 good defenses, 2 good offenses. If San Francisco comes out of that game, they won the game, they're undefeated, they're feeling good about themselves. I think you could potentially see them coming to us as a little bit of a letdown game. It kind of sets up for you. Yeah. And historically, we've actually, in the few games we've played Christian McCaffrey, we've been able to bottle him up, which is weird because we've been ran on by most of the league in the last few years. We couldn't stop the run, but for some reason, every time we played Christian McCaffrey, we could stop the run. So that doesn't make any sense. So I think if you can get Watson back, you take Elijah Moore and you use him as a receiver and not keep trying to make him Deebo Samuel 2.0, which he's not. and get the ball going down the field and run the ball and be able to keep Watson upright. Watch that Bosa's not in his face all game. I mean, you can win that game, but they just we need Tennessee and Cincinnati, Cleveland. We don't need the other two. So law of averages says that the good team will show up that week.
Well, and I'm looking at it like this. Stefanski has 2 weeks to get this team prepared. He looked ill-prepared this past week. Brother, you got 2 weeks, man, to get this team motivated and ready to beat the ass of San Francisco because they're coming to town. They don't fuck around. So honestly, Stefanski, get this, get this team, riled and ready to go because trust me, my dude, a couple more of these bad L's in a row, season's over. So, I'm not saying this is a must win. We're definitely not there. I believe what Jason's saying, anybody's in the North is anybody right now. Like it's, we're okay to lose the game to the Ravens right now. But trust me, that win against San Fran will look a lot better for us and like our anxiety and everything else just because like you start trying to stack some wins. I definitely look at looking ahead. I like that Colts and Cardinals games for sure. Seahawks, you just never know. I don't know what they're to expect from them, but Colts and Cardinals are winnable games after. So potentially those 4 games, you got to come out 3-1 for sure. I mean, you can drop the San Fran, but then you got to go on a run. So just talking out loud.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point where we got, like you just said, Coltrane, we have to win a game that we weren't supposed to win. I think when the schedule came out, everybody looked at the San Fran game, and I think very few people had us winning that game. So, hey, we take on the 49ers. It's the whiteout game, the white helmet game, right? We're 0-1 in the white helmet, so we're due for a win there. We take that game, and now we're back in business. So.
That San Francisco game is going to be no joke. They're a good team. Like I said, then after that, when you go on the road 2 games, you're in Indy and you're at Seattle. Seattle played last night. They stymied Danny Dimes and the Giants. But Geno Smith got hurt last night, so not sure what his status is going to be the next few weeks too. So it could get interesting. But I do want to jump into something real quick before we get into our picks for next week. You guys are looking sharp in your shirts tonight. I see Coltrane's got the Homage Undertaker shirt on, and Jason's got the NFL Blitz Homage shirt on. Don't forget that the Yard Dawgs Podcast and Network 216 are proud partners with Homage, the apparel company. If you haven't tried Homage yet, you're missing out. Homage is always coming out with on-point, cutting-edge sports apparel. Showing support for your team doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. As a bonus, you will get special discounts using our link to shop at Homage. Support the show and do it in style by shopping for all your favorite sports team gear at Homage. You can find the link on our Twitter page at Yard Dawgs Pod. You can also find it at Network 216 on Twitter. And don't forget to shop Homage today. And I don't know if you guys have seen it recently, but were you guys either of you guys watch Beavis and Butthead when it was on like years ago on MTV?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have a Cleveland Browns Beavis and Butthead shirt, and I was like, I might be my next one.
Nice. I love it.
And it's October 3rd, man. Like Christmas is literally, I think I looked, it's like 85 days away now. I think that was yesterday or something like that. It's crazy. It's approaching.
Wow.
So to kind of recap our picks last week, Coltrane, buddy, me and you did terrible. We both went 0-3. We had the Browns, the Bengals, and the Steelers, and they all.
Oh wow!
Jason was 2-1. Jason had the Texans pulling off the upset, and he had the Titans pulling off that win. So he had the Browns too, but so Jason went 2-1. I got to add up our standings because I can't remember our week 2 picks or our week 3 picks. So I got to go back and rewatch those and put those in there. but I think that puts Jason ahead of you and me by 2 games now. I think we were tied going into last week.
Well, don't worry about all that, boys. There's plenty of time to catch up.
Jason's been out apparently, like watching game film to make his picks. He says he was running his business, but I don't know about that. So picks for this week. No Browns game, obviously. We're on a bye. A big game for the Ravens again this week. Ravens at Steelers. I'm going to start with you, Coltrane. Ravens versus Steelers. Who you got?
Ravens 28, Steelers 13. I think the Steelers are done. This is their downfall that I've been waiting to see since the beginning of the season. Like, I think the Steelers are just straight done. Like, Pickett went down. Matt Canada is probably going to be fired at their bye, no doubt. I mean, I know Tomlin keeps saying he won't, but usually at the bye is when you fire a coach. Definitely he'll be removed. Ravens are hot right now. Trust me, I hate to see it. I don't want to give the Ravens another division win, but, man, I just want to be done with the Steelers, man. I just want them out of our way. Like, right now they're in the way, and I just get them out of the way. Same thing with the Bungles. Get them out of the way right now. So I got to go Ravens 28, Steelers 13.
I like your pick because I'm going to go with this similar score. I got Baltimore. I think Baltimore handles business pretty handily. I don't know if Pickett's going to play. It doesn't sound like he is. So they're probably going to go with, Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
We'll get to start. I'm going to go Baltimore 27. I'm going to go Pittsburgh 10. And then it's on to you, Jason.
I know this. Okay, so this pick is not going to make sense to you guys. It's not going to make sense. But I'm going to pick the Steelers in this game. It's in Pittsburgh. Plus, it would be nice for the Steelers to steal this win to give Baltimore a loss. So there's that. But again, I know it doesn't make sense, and I can't even defend my pick. But I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers to win in Pittsburgh against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday.
Well, and you live in a house with a Steelers fan, so
there's that too. So got to keep everything good on the home front. Not wearing any black and gold. Not going to go that far, but I will be rooting for the Steelers this weekend, and I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say Steelers 23, Baltimore 21.
Potential for us to make a game up on Jason this week. Next game is Bengals versus Cardinals. This is a tough one because, man, Cincinnati needs a win.
Is it in Arizona? Is it in
Arizona? In Arizona. It is in Arizona.
Okay.
And shout out to the Cardinals. You did a really good job with your new uniforms, your white version of them. The red version, little to be desired, but the whites were sharp last week. I'll start here. Bengals versus Cardinals. I mean, Bengals are 1-3. They're a mess. There seems to be Jamar Chase talking all the time. Joe Burrow just doesn't look healthy. He can't drive the ball. He can't escape the pocket, and their offensive line's not very good. You got T. Higgins got hurt last week. I think they're going to go on the road this week and take an L. I think Arizona's playing hard right now. They've been playing a lot better than that, and that's a tough place to play out in Arizona. I think it's close, but I'm going to take Arizona 16, Cincinnati 13. I'm going to go to you next, Jason.
All right. I cannot imagine a world where the Cincinnati Bengals are 1-4. Would I like to see that? Yes. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think the Cincinnati the Bengals take care of business in Arizona. Hey, Jamar Chase is always open. Isn't that what he says? He's always open. So you throw it to Jamar Chase, man. He'll handle it. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. Another close one, but I'm going to say 27-23. Bengals.
Well, this is a week for me to definitely both of you, Mike, you and me, Mikey, to get ahead of this guy this week. I don't care for the Bengals. I never have. A lot of these picks of mine every week are like biased just because I don't like any of the division rivals. But I got a feeling about the Cardinals, man, because like didn't they just lose like a last minute game? Like the last couple of their games, if I remember correctly, were pretty close. They're not a bad football team. They're not as bad as I thought they were going to be, going back to what you were saying earlier, Mikey. So, yeah, at home, I like the Cardinals' chances. Burrow looks like literally Macaulay Culkin, that meme. He literally looks like he just smoked a cig, a pack of smokes, and trotting on the field. Calf injuries never go away. They linger. I think he's been playing hurt. Yeah, I don't like Burrow at all, especially on the road. We'll go Cardinals 24, Bengals 17.
I don't know if they go 1-4 at that point. I don't know when their bye week is coming up. I think
They're
you'll probably
done.
I think you'll see Burrow get shut down, and
Yeah.
they might just tank the rest of the year. I mean, just tank.
Which isn't a bad idea at all.
No.
I'm a fan of tanking.
Yeah, if you're not going to
so
make
much.
yeah,
We've
If
mastered
you're not gonna
that
make the
skill, haven't we,
playoffs-
Coltrane?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not going to make the playoffs, you might as well suck the best. That's what I say. You don't want to be in that. I call it. I think you're seeing that with like the New England Patriots right now. Like I think that's why they're struggling so hard to become relevant again. Is that they keep hovering in like they're like that middle tier. They're not good enough to be in the playoffs, but they're not terrible enough to get a top 5 pick. So they just keep getting these middle round picks, and
Yeah.
they're just gonna have to bottom out eventually. But well, Jason, there is the Barking Browns will be live tonight at 9. It was great having you back this week, Jason. I think next week we are on a bye like the Browns. So we'll be back the week after the 49ers game. We'll be on a bye next week. It was great to have you back, man. We missed you. Glad to see your face with a beard again. And Coltrane, is always fun talking to you. And I could tell, man, like we have a thing, like we know that Coltrane just wants a hot dog in the second half, man. And when he's at a home game, like he can enjoy a hot dog when he doesn't have the anxiety of we might lose or so it's been nice the first 2 games you were able to get your hot dog. So we're sad you weren't able to get your hot dog on Joe Thomas night, but hopefully for San Francisco it'll be hot dog time again.
Yeah, I hope so. Like Jason said, I like our odds with those white jerseys. Hopefully we'll get one in the win column because they are sick. I want them to win in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Bad stuff has happened in them. Like I think they said, what was it? We wore them in the Bears game when Baker tore up his shoulder.
Really?
Or just look at his shoulder. And then we wore him in the Packers game on Christmas.
And then Chubb got hurt in them, right?
Yeah, and then Chubb got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
who knows?
Maybe they are cursed. We'll see.
There's some fans that think Brownie the Elf is cursing the franchise. So it's like there's so many conspiracy theorists and just crazy fans, and that's what I love about our fan base. Everyone's welcome on this show, but man, they're just opposite ends of the spectrum in their beliefs, aren't they?
Well, the whole Brownie lore is about paying homage, or the Brownie lore says like if you don't pay homage to it, it will curse you and bring you bad luck. So I don't know. Maybe it was Art Modell's fault all those years back when he was like, I'm going to do away with Brownie.
Yeah, he ruined everything, man.
It's all his fault, man. But we got to bye this week, get healthy, get Watson back on the field, and go play San Francisco and try to look like a playoff caliber team and pull off a big win. So we'll see what happens in a couple weeks. But as Jason always says, I'm gonna let you close it out, Jason. This is your thing.
Well, everybody knows we like to end all of our shows with the Go Browns. So Coltrane, Mikey P, if you'll join me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Browns!
Go Browns!